If you like talking,
Women.
Ladies,
men,
topic,
Conversations.
and occasional uninformed politics,
multiple talking women is for you.
hit it! Hey everybody, this is Paula Gherkin. I'm the producer of Multiple Talking Women, and I'm here because we're doing the show right now.
Oh, you sound real happy about it. I'm Lana Brown.
And I'm Felicity Bramblebush. Get?
Oh, you know what? We're looking at our guest today, Ryan GAUL, and all I have to say about him is, get damn, this guy is yoked. He's always been handsome. But his body is the kind of body that you want.
I'm blushing.
It barely fits in the chair.
If you're in a Nicholas Sparks novel or movie, okay, he did The Notebook. You want him and his goddamn body to pull your wet body out of a river in the rain.
Sure. Yeah, and guess what? Not the only thing that'd probably be wet.
Wait a
That's
second.
right.
What else?
That's right.
I'm talking about vaginas.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So welcome.
You know, anyone who pulls me out of a body of water, it's one of those things that gets me.
Well, you're already wet if you're in a body of water.
Right, but it's a different type of it's viscous.
It's a gooey wet.
It's gooey.
Slick. I don't want to objectify or assault him with our
Please
words.
continue. Please keep going.
So, Paula, how did you find us this guy? Because I've seen him in numerous.
Clear.
shows.
You can't guess by his body.
Well, tell me, he's a
I
student?
train him.
Yeah, he's a student.
We train.
Yeah.
Okay. What
we
sort
do.
of
We do old
sprints?
school tire stuff. A lot of big tire stuff.
Mostly tire stuff.
Mostly.
Oh.
I think it's only been tire stuff so far.
And then after, is he like Zac Efron and drinking a smoothie made of chicken?
Yeah, sometimes. So
I
I like him to have a lot of protein.
Blended chicken?
I'm more fruity smoothie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, and then you hide the taste of any kind of, if you want to bulk up, put a lot of protein in there, you hide it with some fruit.
What kind of pump-up tunes do you listen to when you do tire stuff?
It's her choice, but it's mostly Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Come to my window.
That's not
Melissa
Bonnie
Etheridge.
Raitt.
No.
Who's
that's
that?
Melissa Etheridge.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my bad because I thought you do play that one as well.
Yeah.
That one's in the mix.
Yeah.
They're very similar. They're similar in their voices.
Sure. some
There's a
ways.
little bit of a rasp.
There's rasp.
Folky rock.
Yeah.
Folky.
Yeah, folk
There's-
rock
there's
country.
rasp.
Yeah.
Folk rock country.
What's new, Ryan Gall?
Nothing. It's really nice to be here. It's
Thanks for
nice
being
to
here.
see all of you. I meet all of you, I should say, except for
Except for me.
sorry.
I want to
Paula?
give our listeners
I know.
a little bit of perspective without having to start quite right at the beginning.
Okay.
What is the first thing you did where people were starting to look at you like, oh, I know that guy from television?
Yeah, I think when I came to LA, I was desperate to do anything in front of a camera, and I got a commercial agent and I was lucky enough to get some commercials.
Yeah.
And I had a streak where it was like 6 months where I had a weird amount of commercials running.
Wow.
And people were like, "Oh, you're the Taco Bell guy, but also TGI Friday,
Wow.
like bank man."
Yeah.
And it was equal parts embarrassing
And pleasure.
and pleasure. Yeah.
Why embarrassing?
Because I think there's a stigma around actors who do commercials.
Not anymore. All the
No,
A-lister movie
Yeah.
star Oscar winners are doing freaking commercials. And then people like us who are desperate to get to be an extra in a commercial are left to the side.
Well, I think you guys would be great at commercials. I really do.
Can you get
Thank
us
you for
into any
saying that.
commercials?
I don't have a lot of. I don't,
You don't
have a
have
lot
pull
of
in that way?
pull, and yeah, I'm still trying to get in some myself.
But thank you for shining a light on this, because being an actor, it does seem, Lana and I are really new to the game.
Yes.
But it is equal parts embarrassing and pleasurable. Now, when we first met
Yes.
at Cats,
Yeah.
we were
that's
prancing around
what do you
like
call the
Jellicles?
Jellicle cats.
Jellicle?
The extras.
jellicles. I mean, there's frankly nothing more embarrassing. Would you agree?
It's vulnerable to say, I want to do this, and then have somebody watch you and be like, are you doing it yet?
Right.
Are you
Right. You can do it at a limited bit in the back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't do it so much in front
specifically
of
though,
everybody.
like prowling across a stage
Yeah.
in a cat costume.
Yeah.
But this is what you do as an actor.
what
What's the
you
most
have to be-
embarrassing thing you've ever done?
Oh God. It probably a commercial. I remember there was a commercial for Taco Bell where I had to get up on like a picnic table and proclaim that I'd won a double-decker taco.
Delicious.
And
Sounds so good right now.
I say I'm a winner. I'm a winner, and I go crazy doing it. But the worst part about that commercial is they aired it forever and a long time. So people would go like I'm a winner when they'd see me, and then they got rid of it, and I was like, thank God, it's done. Made a good amount of money. It's done. And 6 months later was when Charlie Sheen went down that hole, and he said,
no, I'm
"Winner."
winning. Yeah, I'm a
Like
winner.
I'm winning. I'm a winner. And Taco Bell brought it back
No.
for like another year and a half.
Well, money.
It was good money, but
But-
it didn't help my
Yeah.
didn't help getting on TV in other
Right.
ways.
Well, but you started out as an improviser. Is this correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Can I go
and-
back even further,
For sure,
please?
for sure.
I
Back it up, back it
you
in.
know me. I don't follow a lot of celebrities.
But you're clearly
I
into this
followed.
one.
Well, because when you're training someone's body,
Mhm.
you got to know them from the day of their birth, because you really need to know a lot about their history to
No.
train them right.
I'm not sure that's true.
It is. You were born in Maine,
Maine.
lived
yeah.
in Maine,
Lobsterville.
Lobsterville.
Some people call it
And-
Lobsterville.
But how does a kid in Maine? Because that just feels like you're in the woods. You should be, you should be aspiring to be, somebody chopping wood or
Yeah.
something. But how does a kid in Maine go? Well, no, I want to be in the front of the camera. I want to be on theater. Well, how did that happen?
It's a good point. I don't know. I think because I was the youngest of four,
Mm.
and my mother tells all of us all the time. She was like, "We wanted three," and
Oh.
and she says when I found out I was pregnant with you, I sat on the couch and I cried for hours.
Are you much younger than your siblings then?
No, I'm only 2 years younger than my sister above me.
Did you ever say, "Well, you should have thought of that and,
Yeah, that's
and
her
gone
fault,
on
not
birth
yours."
control"?
Well,
How dare you?
oh, they're
she's-
hardy Catholics.
Must be
They
a
would
woman
never-
of God. I was
They
going to
would never-
say.
So they
a
were
woman
doing the-
after my heart.
They were doing the rhythm method, and
Yeah.
they blew it.
Oh, I don't even think they were doing that. I think
Okay.
they just blew it.
But
Oh,
wait, does
Well,
this
your
give
dad
you
blew it.
bad feeling? Have you talked to your mom
No,
about it? Now
it's
you're
more
okay.
it's more a joke
Okay, I
around
hope so.
around the house. But I always
hurtful
say that
joke.
it's a hurtful, painful thing to remember. And no, I think because of that, she's basically explaining why she had no time for me as a child, or there were no
geez.
pictures of me. There were
Oh,
no
I see.
because I was
She
like,
already did it 3
she
times.
she was desperate to
She's done.
keep control of the house,
Mhm.
and I became the clown, trying to desperately get attention. That's my theory, and I also just think my sisters and brother were high energy weirdos.
Do you think
and
you're trying to
trained me.
get in front of a camera because your mommy never took pictures of you as a baby?
Yes,
Probably.
I've never put it together exactly like that, but you're without even joking around.
totally.
That's absolutely true.
We all have some version.
That was a
of
great kind of the way you. I'm going to say this to you, Felicity, because I don't give either of you very many compliments. That was a very good journalism.
Yeah, it was
question.
very Barbara Walters.
It was very Barbara
Well,
Walters.
she's my hero.
Well,
So
But
great.
she has
Thank
12
you.
kids, so all your kids are going to be clamoring to be in front of the camera because you don't give them nothing.
well, they have to show me they deserve something.
That's true.
Do better, I say.
Okay.
Eat less.
wow.
Eat less, do better.
Well, that makes me feel better about my childhood.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So, all right, Maine, you want to get in the pictures. You go to, let me guess, a high school play, a musical. What? When do you
No.
first do anything?
This is what's strange. I don't think I ever thought I'd be an actor, even in high school. Like in middle school, I remember doing one play where I had a walk-on role, and I had to play a character named Knuckles, and it was my first time on stage.
Was it West Side Story? What was it?
No, it was like a weird, like blend of a bunch of.
Oh, they love to do that in
They
middle
do.
school.
Yeah. to give
but-
everyone some parts.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and they gave me one line.
Was he a mobster?
No,
Knuckles.
he was like a dumb. This is it's sort of what I've fallen into in all my characters in life. He was sort of like a dumb, unassuming cowboy. And so
Sexy. I like that. type.
that was definitely pointing me down the road I would soon sprint down. But I remember my sister came up to me after that play and she was like, "You were really funny."
Oh.
it was my sister Sarah, and I was like, and it was the
That
first
felt
time I had
good.
felt like a connection between being on stage and that appreciation.
Well,
of,
and she
like,
must have had a good sense of humor because you believed her.
She does.
Yeah.
She did, and she does.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I believed her for sure. And then I ran with that, but I didn't do another play until high school when I went in front of Mr. Azaretti to audition for Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh.
And
Shout out to Mr. Hazareti.
he did not give me a part.
Oops.
And
fuck
I
you.
take it
offered,
back.
he offered me the chorus,
Oh.
and where I just stand with a sword, and I was like, "No thanks, man. No thanks. I'll wrestle instead." So
Seriously.
I played sports.
So you put on the singlet.
Yeah, I put on a singlet.
Mhm. Which is what I make him train in.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is uncomfortable, and it's been hard over the last couple of months because it's cold and we do everything outside.
But you
with
have to
tires.
see the muscles.
I need to see exactly which muscles are working.
Yeah.
You do. You definitely have.
And
You've
she
seen
says,
them all.
let's give him something.
Talk
Is that
about.
Bonnie Raitt? Okay.
Yeah. That one
So,
is.
okay. So then college comes and
College comes, same thing where I'm like, I'll do
Stonehill.
Stonehill College.
Ah.
Did my research.
Outside of Boston, and pretty serious theater department, but all dramatic stuff.
Oh.
And I got parts there because I think I didn't care much, and I was like, they were like, all right, you'll be, you're gonna play the Reverend in here, and slowly I made my way up to my senior year where I had a couple of lead parts in very
Wow.
dramatic stuff, like weirdly dramatic stuff, depressing. My parents
Right.
would come and go like, "My God, what are you doing? Like you're a young man. You're playing a father taking care of his daughter in a wheelchair." And
Okay, but I need to pause because you're a deeply, deeply hilarious man. And so doing these dramatic parts, you never got the giggles. You weren't trying to crack jokes. It was easy for you to just commit to these dramatic roles.
I didn't know anything else at that time.
Oh.
I hadn't done any improv. I hadn't done any sketch.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my senior year, the last day of theater. We'd go in and you'd meet with the director, and for some creepy reason, you go in her room and she's tells you like
laid out.
what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You've done a really nice job." And I was like, I think I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
I really have a feeling in my stomach like I want to do this. And she was like, maybe. And I was like, huh? And she goes, I swear to God, she goes, you might be able to do some soaps. And this is the dangerous part of a professor.
Yeah, you
/
believe
direct-
him.
I believed her, and I said, well, that wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
And I started researching, like,
Yeah.
well, how much?
How do I get on Days of Our Lives?
How do I do it?
Yeah.
Which I did audition for Passions when I got
Passions was the most.
It was crazy.
What she was
That a
saying is
comedy.
you were good looking. But to
and
me,
couldn't act.
we've had a couple guests who have had a
This kind of thing.
person say to them,
Yeah.
basically, this is not for you. And I think that's fucking great. And I hope she knows where you're at right now.
I do too.
I did. I went back specifically
Good.
and mentioned her in the school magazine
Yes.
interviewed me. And
Yes.
this was like a few years ago, and I told that exact story.
Yeah.
And I just was like, and they were like, well, do you have a message for
Oh.
Patricia Sankas? And I was like, no, I just hope she's doing great.
Oh.
Sankus.
Sankus.
Sankas.
Okay.
I know.
So
Sankas.
what's the moment where you go ding 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 comedy?
When I went to a comedy theater in Boston, I was working at a bank, being I take phone calls when people had like issues with their accounts, and I'd be like,
Thankless
"Hi,
job.
thank you for calling U.S. Trust. This is
This
Ryan
already
Gaul. How
sounds
can I
like a
help you?"
hilarious bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very and
Was that in Boston that you were
I
doing
was
that
in
job?
Boston,
Sure.
and then I went to a theater called Improv Asylum, and
Mm.
I saw a show, and it was like as if the person, it was like falling in love in a second. I was like, I'm doing it. It wasn't, I think I could do that. It was like, I'm going to do that. I'm doing it. And I bothered they didn't even have classes at that point. And I would call
'Cause it was brand new.
the owners and go like, when are the classes coming? I want a class. You got to give me a chance. Give me a class. And finally, probably like 8 months later, I remember getting a call from one of the owners and was like, "Hey, we're gonna start a class. Do you want to do?" I was like, "Yes, yes, yes." When today, I'll do it, and I've just never stopped since then.
Now, word on the street is
Mm-hmm.
because I made some calls prior to this to just research. Word on the street is that you were kind of a stalker in a way. You were in that audience
Yes.
every night.
Every night.
And you're just, staring up at the people on the stage and hanging around afterwards and talking to everybody.
I literally would go to every show, and because I was like, sooner or later they'll be like, well, it's easier just to put them in the cast
Yes, right.
or something.
Yeah.
And I figured when they did audition me at some point, they would know who I am.
Some
Mhm.
familiarity.
And that would be on my side.
Mm-hmm.
It probably hurt me more than because they thought I was crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was the
That's
beginning.
How did
That's-
your audition go?
It was pretty great. I remember not being able to sing, but trying.
Mm.
I remember I didn't know what I was doing totally, but I had the commitment of a tiger trying to eat a elk. I
Sure.
just was like, I don't care how long it takes. I
I'll
just
get it done.
I knew I wasn't that great. I knew I wasn't as good as some of the other people, but I knew I could just commit to things.
That's part of it.
Because
Yeah.
you graduated the Stonehill dramatic acting program.
It definitely helped. I do think that like that commitment that I learned at Stonehill definitely helps with improv.
Yeah,
and
because you
comedy in
can't
general.
be. Because I've seen a little bit of your work at the Groundlings.
Oh,
And what I've learned is it's not da 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 da. Like it's not I'm being funny. You have to believe. As
Mm.
odd as this character is, it's
Mhm.
almost dramatic acting as a very eccentric person.
yes.
We have to believe that that's real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Real.
And he's so
No,
comfortable.
real, because I've seen multiple. So
Okay.
it's multiple performances.
Okay.
Did you know that to become a Groundlings main stage member is harder to get into than Harvard?
Yeah, I
I just
heard
am
that.
mad at that teacher that said, maybe you could do something.
What's harder to get into, the Panama's women's journalism schools or the Groundlings?
The journalism school is not as hard, but it's pretty hard. You're
Well, you
wearing
have to be
a
a
crazy
woman.
shirt today, by the way. Yeah, you have to be a woman. She's wearing a shirt like she wants to be a showman or in a Michael Jackson video.
Yeah.
Well-
Why are you wearing that today?
You know what? Because I've been up since 4 a.m. I had an early breakfast, a total blowout in a Waffle House.
A blowout.
I did. I normally wouldn't admit these things, but today I am because I had a shot of sea moss from a man who was wearing some tight shorts, and I couldn't pass it up.
Have you had
you
sea
shit
moss?
yourself in a? What, is that what you're saying?
I made it to the bathroom.
And now, after that, you're thinking it's a good idea to eat chocolates?
Well, I don't feel great on the inside, so I'm trying to zazz it up on the outside. Is it working?
Okay.
It's working.
Thank you.
You know how I feel about people eating during the podcast.
I wasn't going to make a sound. I'm not this one.
How are you not going to make a sound chewing that chocolate?
It's not a
You can suck chocolate to
Silently.
you can suck it so it just
To completion?
disintegrates.
I was-
You can suck it to completion. Trust me, I know.
Oh.
That was exactly my plan. Here goes.
Okay. Well, good
Okay.
luck. Can't wait to hear all your questions you're about to ask.
I think your determination comes from the moment your mother was crying on the couch,
Yeah.
knowing about that and wanting to say,
From being inside her belly and just
no,
going,
knowing
"My
about
mother's
it and wanting to
sad."
say, I'm going to make my mark
Yeah.
Sure.
and you're going to be happy.
Yeah, and you're all going to be happy.
Yeah.
And when does it stop being enough, the performing at the Improv Asylum?
I think it got to a point where I was like, well, if I want to actually try to make this into a
Make
career,
a living.
yeah, make money.
You came to LA.
I came to LA. I bet
You had some hilarious conversations at the bank, though.
at the you know what's funny, there was a man named Charles who was next to me, and Charles was this big like bodybuilder,
Oh.
Probably
and
know.
he had a toupee that was like a permed curly toupee, but he had no other hair.
Oh.
He's like Jim Rash if you picture like a strip of curly
Just curly on the top.
except it's huge.
That's an interesting look.
Sounds like a Groundlings
One
wig.
day we never talked, never spoke. I didn't talk to anyone, and he just looked over like the cubicle one day, and he was like, "Are you an actor?" And in my mind, I was like, "Well, not really," but I just said, "Well, yeah, yes." And he goes, "You're not gonna believe me, but I'm psychic, and you're moving to LA in the next year, and you're going to make a good amount of money." And I was like, Charles.
Charles.
And in my mind, I thought, you're crazy. You're a crazy person, Charles. But I've thought about reaching out to him.
I think you need to.
But then,
If- I don't know if
but
he's
that's
even
not the
alive.
only.
Why? You think he worked out too much?
That's not the only psychic experience you had, saying you were moving
Yeah.
to L.A. and going to make a lot of money. That
Yeah.
happened twice.
Well, it happened in Boston at
a
the
tarot
tea
card,
room, the
a tarot
tea
card
room,
place.
where that was very weird because that had stuff to do with my father too. Which, yeah, and I'm a pretty big skeptic, but those are two experiences where I was like, huh. I also, with that one, which was different, is I think I had said like I'm an actor.
Right. But this, but I see, we talk a lot when I'm training him. I say,
Okay.
when I say, push that tire, tell me a childhood memory.
Yeah.
I say
Right.
things like
This
that.
is
It
how
Tell
makes
me-
it harder
yeah,
to
I make it,
fit it into the breathing.
Yeah, fit it into breathing. And what I know is that in that one, the second one at the tarot card or tea leaf place, whatever the hell, that they said, "Oh, your dad, works on a boat. We see him on a boat.
Yes.
He's working on a boat." And he said, "No, my father doesn't work on a boat." Guess what? Cut to talk to dad. I take the ferry to and from every day
yeah.
to work or whatever, and he didn't put that together.
It was a new job he had, which I didn't know anything about, and he was like, "Yeah, it's a little bit of a pain because I have to take the boat out to the island every day."
Oh,
Wow.
So
wow.
so there's a lot of psychic energy around Ryan Gaul. A
I
lot
don't
of-
believe in any of that. I mean, it's clearly the
that's right.
Lord.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it
So
might
it's-
just be the Lord.
just
Jesus
Jesus.
Christos.
It's just Jesus. We're
just
talking
Jesus.
through Charles.
I will never forget
Leaves.
Charles. I could draw a picture of Charles, and you guys would not be able to not laugh.
I would love to see it.
All right,
What
I'll
a
do it.
wonderful guy, Charles.
Yeah, I did appreciate that.
Yeah.
We never
nice.
talked again.
Oh.
It was it. That
That was it.
That one moment.
Isn't that weird?
Pretty weird.
Charles, a
right.
messenger from God.
That's
So-
right.
Exactly.
It's true.
Maybe maybe he was God. Could he have been Jesus?
Charles in charge.
Charles
Of
was in
our
charge.
days
Charles is in
and
charge of my
our
life in a way.
lives.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. He really is.
Yeah,
So you followed his head.
I followed
And
its
you
lead.
came
I
out
came
here.
out here, and eventually worked through commercials. I got a part on Sunny in Philadelphia where I was a
Yes.
bartender, which was a smaller part, but for some reason, even today, people will be like, "Oh, it was the small parts that people remember." And then I got my first series regular show that shot in New York, actually, on The Last OG with Tracy Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody would, like, I was on every episode, and people will be like, "What'd you do?" And I'm like, well, the biggest job I had was Last OG. And they're like, "I don't know that." Nobody knows it unless you're in New York, and then people,
There were billboards, I remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
with
just
me
so
on them.
much. There's just so much
That's why-
entertainment.
that's
There's so
right.
much streaming and
There's too
channels,
much.
and
It's
it's
too
too
much
much.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going
If
on.
there's too much, then why can't we get a job?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's a question for Charles.
That's a question for
Yeah.
Charles.
We gotta
Let's
get Charles on the horn.
I
Get him
know.
on
I
the-
wish I could remember his last name. I have no way of finding him.
Huh.
Charles, if you're listening,
Find me.
I'll pray
Yeah.
on it.
yeah, pray on it.
Sometimes the no way of finding someone is a big one for me.
Yeah.
Ex-boyfriends and people that aren't on social medias.
Do you
I-
want to find ex-boyfriends?
You get curious. I want to see what they look like.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I dodged a bullet.
Right.
Well, how would
if you
your
blew
lover
it.
feel if he knew that you were
Her what?
My lover or my partner? Because
Your
I have a
partner.
partner and two lovers.
or your partner or your lovers?
How would they feel?
Yeah.
They're open to having the multiple stuff that I have anyway. It's
Wow.
fine.
Yeah, she could add a fourth to the mix.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more chocolate chip in the cookie.
That's right. They're confident.
And you're also a father.
Oh.
I'm a father. I am a father of two beautiful little boys.
Do you like it?
They're not that little anymore.
No.
I do. I love them. I love them so much, but they're like little men now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think I like it more
Yeah.
than
They-
when they were babies.
What kind of stuff you guys go skateboard? And what do you do?
Big baseball players.
Oh, both of them.
Big baseball players. They're getting into tennis. They're
sporty.
active boys. They got a lot of energy.
Oh, great.
That's
You got to
great.
run them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I say to him, "Let me get my hands on your boys," and he says, "Not yet."
I got to draw the line. I got to
Yep.
set up a boundary.
I'd love
A
to get them
young
both.
boy who's super musculated is not.
I'd like to get them both in a couple of singlets, and I'd like to see them working
It is
out.
a little gross when it's like a 10-year-old and their muscle.
Too much muscle.
Have you
Yeah.
seen that little Hercules?
Yes.
Yeah.
Online.
I don't like
Yeah.
it at all.
Not good.
Doesn't make sense. Plus, it stunts their growth.
Yes. Yeah. I like
Yeah, because
to-
then you're holding back their bones with the muscle.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And are your boys
I would just
funny?
run them. I just run them around. I wouldn't make them lift weights or tires.
well, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait on it.
Well, think about
Do
it.
you have funny boys?
Yeah, they're very funny. They're very sarcastic. They're very
Oh.
like subtly funny.
That'll be good.
Yeah, and they're very judgmental of my comedy.
Of course.
I'll say something that I think is funny, and they'll look at each other like, "Is this guy for real? Come on, man,
They don't
that's
get
not
it.
funny."
They don't get it.
Yeah.
Again, I could whip them into shape. I could say, hey, you know,
Oh, you want to train them and
I also want to train them on what's funny, you know.
Do you think they'll follow in your footsteps?
no, they're not allowed.
Oh.
No, they are allowed to. I remember my commercial agent right away saying, "Can we get them in there?
Can we have them?
Yeah, and I was like, "No, I never want them to associate like joy with money until they have to work."
Mm-hmm.
And I see kid actors all the time that are like, they're on a commercial or on a set, and they associate their success with money.
That's frightening.
It's bad. It's
Yeah.
bad. So I'm like, if you want to act, join the theater at
Do theater, yeah.
school.
Well,
Right,
you've
then you know if you like it.
Created
Yeah.
a lot of your own stuff too. You're not just sitting around writing for scripts.
No.
No,
You know,
No, we
you're
ju-
a creator.
I did. That's the thing I'm working on right now. Is actually a horror movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you already made a horror movie, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, it's
in
process.
It's in post.
It's in post. Okay.
Yeah, post.
Okay.
What kind of
Post-production.
post things you got to do? You got to put music on
Put
it. You
posters
gotta,
up and
Yep,
you gotta
you gotta
do?
Marketing.
You gotta the big three are you gotta make posters, VFX, special effects, coloring,
and
of
it
the
all
whole
costs
thing.
money, huh?
It costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money, but we're.
And what drew you to this spooky side?
I think
I think being from
Spookies-
Maine, Maine's probably
Well-
the scariest place in its entire country.
It's pretty spooky because it's so dark at night. It's so dark,
Ooh.
and there's a lot of mystery and legend
Mm-hmm.
up in Maine. But I love horror because I think it's the same idea as comedy. It's
Interesting.
unexpected surprise, and that's all comedy is as well.
I found it hits you almost in the same space in your belly
Yeah.
when you want to scream or when you want to laugh.
Not me. I
Yes.
don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like horror.
I don't like to be scared, and I especially don't like it if someone thinks, "Oh, this would be funny to scare this person."
I see. I love. I know you had Matt Cook on as well, and we both love a good surprise and
Oh.
watching people fold into themselves and scream internally is very fun for me.
I'm not
I
a good
love it.
sport in that. I'll tell you what. I'll someday I'll get you back, and it's not going to be in a funny way. It's going to be in a way that makes you go, "Wow, that might not have been worth it."
That's
you know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah,
That's
because
true.
sometimes the reaction's not, haha, that was funny, you scared me. It's anger.
Yes.
Yeah, I get angry.
Sometimes
and
that
I
can
hold it
happen.
for years.
Yes.
I like
you
a
play
good
the
res-
long.
I like a good
game.
long resentment.
Well, you have this in common with another groundling and a guest that we had named Edie Patterson.
Oh yeah.
Because she said her father would trick them, and the mom would say,
Yeah, go into the bed.
Go into the bedroom and say goodnight to your father," and he'd be in there in a crazy wig with her head and say like, "Good night," and the younger
Oh,
sister
my
would be
God.
terrified.
She would get so scared she'd run in circles.
Yeah, but I want to try it. Have you ever scared your boys?
No, they're a little too young, I think. Although my dad did something similar to what Edie experienced when he said he would go to meetings at night, and he was like, "Well, I got to go to a meeting," and my mother was like, "Okay, well, have fun," and I'd go to sleep before my dad would get home all the time. So I'd watch like a couple of sitcoms, and my mom would be like, "All right, time for bed." I went up into my room. She gave me like a hug and kiss goodnight and said, "I wish you were never born." And then and then I like the lights went out, and I was sitting there, and I felt my bed was up against the wall, and between the wall and the bed, a hand in
That is terror.
in a glove, a scary like demon glove came up. And like this, and I just remember going like, "Huh, huh," and paralyzed, frozen with fear, and it came and just went conk on my body like this, and I was like, "Mom!" I screamed "Mom" like for probably 30 seconds straight. And I heard laughing, my familiar father's laugh. And I was like, what? I was traumatized.
Talk about
what age is this?
commitment.
I bet you I was like 4th grade.
Oh. See, and did you want to pee?
Look at she's so scared she's holding
No,
herself.
I do. This makes me, when I get really scared, I start laughing hysterically.
If I had not just peed, I probably would have peed myself or shit myself. A blowout, as you like to call it.
Yeah, she calls it.
But I remember being so mad at him, and to this day, he claims he never did it. And I'm like, I literally saw you. You came up from under the bed and were laughing.
Was there
and
no
said-
moment of him coming out and going, ha ha ha, it's just a little funny thing I did?
He definitely like came out from under the bed and he was like, I'm sorry. It was a.
But he says he didn't do it. Do you think he says he didn't do it because he just doesn't want to own up to it?
I think he like blacked it out.
Or he
Like,
wants to keep him like there is a monster under the bed. That's intense. I
I
want to
love
do
it.
this.
I love it. I
You
love
wanna
a
do
game
it?
like
yeah,
this.
I want to do it.
I do.
Yeah, it was pretty.
But my kid's 17, so it has to be pretty bad.
I would want
Yeah.
to do it, but then the kids would want to come sleep with me, and I always want to stay available for my husband to enter me. So,
Oh God, you won't do that if the kids are in the bed.
I
Anytime
haven't thought
he's
about it. No,
around
I don't
youth-
think I would.
No, he doesn't
No.
like youthful people. He likes older people.
Mm-hmm.
My partner once did this to his father. He said, "Tell Dad I was hit by a car," to his brother, lays in the middle of the road with ketchup everywhere. The dad runs out in his underwear thinking it's real. That's terrible.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's probably not good.
Oh, yeah.
When my brother was in first grade at show and tell, he forgot to bring anything, so he told the class that my dad died with a heart attack. And my mother got a call from like the teacher being like, "I am so sorry about," and she's like, "What?" She's in the middle of like making cookies. She was like, "Oh, Travis." Oh, Travis.
The hard thing about that is you can only use that once.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
they weren't trusting a lot of what he said after
No.
after that one.
Wow.
That's
I love it.
hilarious.
I love
Pretty
it.
great.
God, your sibs are funny.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
they are, they are.
He is very funny. He's a very funny
Oh
guy.
God.
So you're working on horror
Yeah,
movie now,
I'm-
and then you still like auditioning for things. You go out for commercials. You go out for television
in
programs.
commercials recently.
Yeah, I'll do.
Yeah.
You know, the I'm sure everyone's saying this. The industry is a little weird right now.
Yeah,
So
because there was a strike.
Yeah. So yeah, no bites yet after the last OG ended last year. So kind of waiting and enjoying performing live and
But you
working
were-
on this movie. Like that's my main
Mm-hmm.
like thing right now. I'm doing that daily, so it's filling my inkwell.
Yeah.
You work with Tracy Morgan, but also you work, and the name escapes me because of menopause. She wrote a book called The Last Unicorn.
Oh, Tiffany Haddish.
Mm, yes.
How was it working with her?
She was great. Both of them
I
were
bet
great.
she loved you.
Those are very funny.
She
people.
loved
Probably
me.
really
loved me.
flirtatious.
No, we weren't. We became very
Buddies.
like close and
Would she
on
do this
set, but
podcast, you think?
But probably she
Let's
would.
call her
Text her.
right when this is over.
Okay. Jesus Christ. No, she's so busy. Like
Mm-hmm.
even when we were shooting, she'd be like coming into set from another job, shooting and leaving. So
And then
you
leaving
know.
to do a movie or
And
whatever.
how is
Yeah.
that? So you're a star on a television series, and gotta be feeling pretty great about your life. And then there's Tiffany Haddish is coming, and she's so many
Yeah.
other things. And so there's always someone you're doing the thing, and then there's always someone doing the other thing. And then are you happy with yourself, or are you always like I need to do more?
That's a challenge, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of the best things about the Groundlings, to be honest, because you always have this home,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what's going on, no matter like a show gets canceled or I remember doing a pilot
Mm-hmm.
and getting like it got picked up, and I was like, oh, that's great. And then got a call like an hour later from
Oh.
my manager being like, they're going to replace you
No.
with somebody else.
No,
And I was
no,
like,
no, no,
"What?"
no, no.
The
But I
amount
was
of emotional.
it was crazy, but I was on my way to do a show at the Groundlings, and it was so great because the Groundlings just like tore that energy out of me, and I was able to
Have
Create.
fun and
have
perform.
a few hours of like, all right, it's not the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah, you've made hundreds of thousands of audience members laugh over the years.
Hundreds,
funny to
of
think
Maybe a
about.
million
Maybe
probably
maybe.
multi-million.
from
I
between
don't know.
Boston,
It's
between commercial laughing at winner on the
Yeah.
on
Winner,
the
winner, chicken
thing.
dinner.
What
Yeah.
I think is this is how the industry should work. if one person like Tiffany Haddish or Emma Stone, who's in everything,
Yeah.
has all that, you can only have one thing each until everybody's gotten one thing.
Yeah.
Then you can maybe get a second.
Then
It's
you
kind
can
of
get
like
a
a
second one.
communistic version
It's
of it.
communistic.
Yeah. Socialist.
Yeah.
The socialist version of acting.
Socialist.
Sure.
But anyone, otherwise it's not fair.
You know what I'm going to say, and
I
you're not
do.
going to like it.
What?
It's
Say
that.
it.
It's that time. It's that time.
Well, we need to play an improv game and we need some advice.
Well, we have to. We have to play an improv game because he's a world renowned
famous. Yeah.
improviser.
Record
Oh,
holder.
no.
But then also, yes.
I
So
saw him in a show, can I just say?
Yeah.
Where he showed his bottom.
yeah, you got to see it. Wait, and what's
Get.
that? What's the word?
Get.
Yeah.
Right. That's the
He
TikTok
showed-
word for bottom.
I've seen the
I've
tuft
seen-
of hair
I've-
poking out the top of his gat.
Yes, I have to.
I show it all.
I like
it's
that.
It's a
He
very
likes to
safe
keep you
space
on
for
the
me.
edge.
It's a
Liberating.
very safe space for me. I disappear into something else, and I'm like, I would show everything if
Why not?
Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I
an
never
offering.
was like that anywhere else in my life. So I think it's like therapy.
It's
for me.
comfort. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what do
that's
you?
nice.
What's your advice to? Hey, maybe a kid in college who's being told, "Hey, you could do soaps," or something. Like, what's your advice to keep going, or to pursue your dreams?
God, I don't. I think you got to just find, if you're happy with it, you can't have expectations that anything's going to happen. You have to let your own happiness be enough. And it doesn't matter if you have a job. It doesn't matter if you want to act, if you want to be a performer or a creator, you can do that. And you don't need permission from anyone. You don't have to have the goals anybody else sets up for you. You can do it all yourself, and it's enough. You can do a show for one person, which I've done, and go home happy because you created what you meant to create. It doesn't matter necessarily who's watching or how many people are watching or accept it.
Wow.
That's great.
That's powerful
It's
stuff.
Need to
powerful.
remember that.
Yeah. Remember, because I don't know if you two are ever happy when you're doing these things. You're kind of doing it only because you want other people
I
to
have a
think you want
question.
creams and lotions.
Have you ever gotten a bag of cream and lotion or anything from somebody seeing you on television?
a swag bag?
A swag-
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
I did get I got a
That's our dream.
I got one really good one once, like full of like
Diamonds.
it had like I can't remember. It had like
Like-
Tom Ford perfume. Like
Oh.
it started
La
with
Mer cream, things
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
It was actually. Did you take that from me?
I mean,
That's not
I don't know where
fair.
I got.
It is
I don't know
missing.
where I got that cream from, but I did
I
get
think you
it
know exactly
after.
where you
Well,
got
I
it.
got it.
Yeah,
One
I
of the
missed
days we were
that.
training.
I missed
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't get that right now.
Free things. You will.
Yeah.
It's a
If
roller
it's coming,
coaster.
It is a roller
It's
coaster.
a roller
coming.
coaster.
It's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah. All right. What improv game are we going to play?
Well, we've recently been doing a lot of zip zap zop. So let's do something. Let's do 3-word story.
Okay.
Great.
It's a very
3-word.
advanced.
It's an
3-word.
advance. Yeah, this is an advance.
We're learning.
this
We're
is-
learning.
This
We're
is
learning
hard
one,
to.
okay?
This is
Who's
hard
starting?
to pull off.
So Ryan's gonna start, then he'll take it to me.
Okay.
Then I'll
I'm
take
I'm
it
going to
to
make the
me.
guest start.
Well, because he's the
Okay.
expert here.
Oh, that's true.
He's the world record
Okay.
holder.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to do this.
Let's try. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Gary drove a.
Fast car too.
His grandmother's house.
Where she was.
Baking a big
Alien. Hi, said.
Granny. Then she.
Pulled the alien.
close to her.
I love you.
Seems
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It feels like
I want to
Gary
make
just
it-
went there to watch.
I want to make it interesting, so I added
Yeah.
the alien.
Yeah.
Is
But
that what you're supposed
no,
to
that's
do?
not what you're supposed to do.
It could be considered a hot offer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just
A
thought,
hot
know,
offer.
No, you pick something that would be in an oven.
where's the drama?
A pie.
Hey, for all we know, aliens live in ovens.
That's
Damn.
true. You
That
know
is
what?
true.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it more interesting. You're enough.
Oh, that's the
Yes.
moral of the day.
Yeah, that's the moral.
Especially look at you. Listen to you.
More in a
It's
gown. today.
enough.
Didn't feel like showing the goodies today.
I can't believe you didn't tell Ryan Gall about your weird toe.
Yeah, do you
wanna
wanna
end-
tell
I
him
wanted
these
to, but then your voice was in my
Wait,
head.
you have a weird toe?
Well, I did a show a few months ago, back
Yeah.
in October, where I had to dance and wear dancer shoes.
Yeah.
And they made me dance, and my toenail fell off. Now it's growing back.
Okay.
Look how small it is.
Oh, it looks fine.
But it's wrinkled.
He's not.
Yeah,
I'm very
it's like
ashamed
a half.
of it.
It's like a half.
You're very
I'm
nice.
ashamed of it.
It's heinous.
It's not. It's definitely not heinous.
Its
I've seen
texture
bad
is
feet.
wrinkle.
No, I think it's great.
so
You know what?
good.
It's coming back in. You can tell.
They say it takes a year,
Yeah,
but for a while it was only flesh. Oh,
for a while. Yeah, that probably is weird because then
Speaking of
it
aliens.
looks like a little like
yeah.
foot penis.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of having young sons, it starts off looking like a little foot penis toe, and then it gets big. And that's when you don't go around anymore. You don't say, let's take a bath together anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah. What is
know?
the age where you can no longer?
Well,
depends on the individual.
If you see
Yeah.
hair,
oh, then you've gone too far. Look, even I'm
even you know
reasonable.
that you're
Even
reasonable
I know
about
that.
Yeah.
But once I took a bath with my son, and he wanted to dress up as construction workers. So we had little wrenches and Bob the Builder hats and bubbles
in the
in the bath.
How long ago
Those
was
were the
this?
days.
hair?
Well, he was like 3.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I
And
thought he
now
was gonna
he
be like
barely
12.
wants to talk to me.
Well,
Hey,
And I gave up my life. So
All right,
All right.
Ryan Gaul.
it was an absolute pleasure.
this guy's luminous. You got to see this guy's body.
Yeah, see
Let's
it,
get him in some Marvel and
see it
some
in person.
DC.
see it in person if
I
you
want to
can.
see him in a one singlet.
You want to
suit.
see his? Yeah.
Yeah, but he's strong. He could play the villain. He could play the leading man. All of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
dragging
I say.
us out
Be
of the
ready.
river.
Be ready
Or
for
the-
the Marvel call. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
the unassuming, dumb cowboy.
Yeah.
It's where I started. It's where I'm going to end.
Yeah.
Back
Hey,
Mountain
listen,
2.
Hollywood, get your singlets ready.
Yeah, get your singlets ready.
Bye. Bye.
Yay!
Oh, God.
Multiple Talking Women is hosted by Lauren Burns, Ariane Price, and Lisa Shurga, and produced by Carafano and Amelia Misco at Stampede Ventures for the Stampede Podcast Network. Okay, I'm done now.